Yeah.
So tell us about, that moment, that aha moment when, you saw this idea and you decided, you know what, I'm gonna run with it.
I can't really say it was one moment. I think it was just a culmination of moments because I was
Mm-hmm.
part of this WhatsApp group, and every single day there was at least 10 people either looking for a ride or trying
Mm-hmm.
to offer a seat in their car.
Mm-hmm.
And I would see this every single day. And then I tried to use the WhatsApp group to find a ride, and I was unsuccessful multiple times. And the times that I would get a response from someone, we would never be able to align on timings, or um, I wouldn't trust the person because maybe they don't have a profile picture, and their their name on WhatsApp is like a nickname, and I don't know who this person is. I don't know whether I want to spend 4 hours in a car with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to ask questions. I used, excuse me, I used the interactions that I had in my gym as my methodology for research.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd finish a workout with my clients, and we'd be stretching, and then I'd just start asking questions about how they travel between Nairobi and Nanyuki, because Nanyuki is where I live is a very transient town. People are
Mm-hmm.
never in Nanyuki for longer than a month because they have to go in and out for work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd ask them how their experience is with attempting to carpool. A lot of people rent taxis or hire drivers. And the more I asked these questions, the more I saw the problems that exist. And knowing that I had this new skill of product development in my back pocket, I knew I could build solutions for this. So I just kept wireframing in my mind, wireframing. And then I began the development process 2 months ago, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So tell us more about, the solution specifically. Why long distance? How does it work? How do you vet, the vendors, but also the customers that are using the service?
Yeah, so why long distance is because I saw that's where the widest gap is in terms of any solution that's out there. And it was the one that was right in front of my face. And many entrepreneurs say, build a solution for a problem that you have in your life, because that's the one that you know the best. So I need to go to Nairobi every so often to visit family or for work, to visit friends, whatever it may be. And I would love to use a service like Trip Moja to get me there. Every time I want to travel, I have a dilemma. Do I drive? Do I find a ride? Do I take a matatu? Or do I try and reduce my cost of fuel and offer some seats in my car? All those options have hurdles, and a platform like Trip Moja is there to help because you asked about verification. So it's very important that we have transparency and safety as the pillars when you're trying to carpool with someone. So when you're creating an account with Tripmoja, you of course will go through a sign-up process where you verify your email address and you verify your phone number. We do this by way of sending you one-time pins to each of those, your email and your phone number, so that we know that this user owns these forms of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's very important that, especially for your phone number, that this is something that is accessible to you, because once you do accept a passenger or once you do get a seat in someone's car, it's very important that the two of you can communicate with one another. Secondly, we offer the ability for you to verify your identity.
Mm-hmm.
We do this by way of a real-time selfie. You can't upload a photo, it has to be a real-time selfie, and the system is implemented in that way. And a photo of a government-issued document. It has to be one of the three: an ID, your driver's license, or a passport photo, or your passport rather. And these now go into the system and are verified in the backend. If the verification isn't successful, then you get a reason for why it's not. If it is, then you get a verified mark on your profile so that anyone who interacts with a trip that you posted, or if you try to get a seat in someone's car, they can see whether you're a verified member or not.
So before you proceed, when it comes to verification, especially on government issued ID cards or even the selfies, are you integrated with any, reliable, trusted government systems, or how exactly do you verify? Now with
Yes,
technology, a lot of pictures are out there on the internet, and someone can easily pose as a selfie and it can go through. Tell us a bit about the technology and how you verify.
Fantastic question. So we are integrating with a platform called Peleza, and Peleza has an API that we're able to seamlessly send all that data that customers will post on a secure network. And that data is then compared to a government database, so that we know that all the information that we received, whether it's can be verified or not. We did this because comparing just using your eyes is not safe enough.
And those are not scalable.
It's not scalable as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
great. So one of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face, especially who are technical like yourself, is we have great solutions that solve real life problems, but when it comes to driving adoption or product market fit, then they have challenges around that. How do you plan to drive adoption so that then Trip Moja becomes a household name not just in the country, but in the continent?
Yeah, so we plan on keeping the user at the center of all our development. I think a lot of solutions, not just in the mobility space, a lot of solutions that have come from the West have a tough time at finding product market fit because they don't integrate with the local context. So there's a big reason as to why I'm not only a part of the WhatsApp group that sparked the idea, but many other carpooling WhatsApp groups that my friends and family are part of have linked me up, and I've seen how each of these solutions interact or operate, and they operate beautifully. They've found a way to use a basic platform as WhatsApp to bring to life such a complex thing as moving people from point A to B. And these are the things that will allow Trip Moja to build accessible technology solutions, safe technology solutions that integrate with existing transport systems. So I've been speaking with people that own buses and matatus, bodas, and to see what is the next, what is Trip Moja's tomorrow. Right now, it's built for people like you and I that might have cars with empty seats, or people that want to carpool. But then there's many other ways that Kenyans and Africans move around that are still inefficient, that have not been improved for decades and decades and decades. And the fact that we all have a smartphone in our pockets, it baffles me that there isn't yet a way that people are able to, book a seat using their smartphone, even if it's by way of a USSD platform or something that a feature phone can use. I take matatus from the bus stop here when I'm going to Nairobi, and they're still writing people's contacts in notebooks. They pass around a notebook for you to type in, to write your name, your ID number, your contact number, such and such. They're still using cash, and all these things are working, but can be improved. So I think that's what the future of Trip Moja is.
Wonderful. So I know that there are people out there looking at you, listening to you, and you said, you're just starting out, and for lack of a better example, you're like a small fish trying to swim in big waters. And I know previously we've had young people come up with great ideas, and then we have big giants who come with, a lot of cash, and then they try to replicate your model and get, the biggest market share, for lack of a better example. So how do you plan to navigate competition in the near future? Because I know it's a great idea, and definitely people are gonna try to copy your model or even improve your model.
Yeah, just to reiterate, it's all about how to localize, not just for Kenya or Nanyuki or Nairobi, but down to the smaller communities that carpool together and build solutions for them. So right now we've built a product for a global community, i.e. for a Kenyan community.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm in talks with much smaller carpooling groups to see how can we build something for them. They don't want to post a trip and have thousands of people accessible to it. They want a solution that the 30 of them or the 100 of them can use to make the way they travel more efficient. And I think if we continue to go down that path, Trip Moja will become more and more relevant and more tied in and baked into how people travel.
Yeah.
And because they'll have a stronger relationship with it, if someone else builds another solution or if another bigger player comes into the market, um, it is our hope that Trip Moja will continue to be um, the solution that they use because it works for them. It's something that they and their friends and their family can say is part. It's like a third partner
Yeah.
to the way they work. Um, and yeah, just continuing to be to commit to both passengers and drivers. I think it's been a double-sided marketplace. It's really important that we understand the needs of both the passenger and the driver. I think looking at the case of Uber or other ride-sharing platforms where you see the drivers going on strike half the time because the efforts skew so much to the passenger, and they make the driver the smallest member in the room.
Yeah.
And because the platform is so large, the drivers have no use to be part of the Uber platform. They just abide to whatever new policies or new commission structures have been put in place. Um, but without digressing, it's important that TripMoja offers these drivers a more efficient way to ferry their passengers, give them data for them to make informed decisions, um, give them safety, give them insurance, such and such. So the entire spectrum of it from passenger to driver, I think those are the things that will ensure that TripMoja has built a moat that other players in the market can jump over.
Yeah. That's a very good way to look at it, because it's the drivers who make or break in terms of safety, in terms of road practices, courtesy, those small nitty gritties. So, are there any lessons you learned from Swivel? The
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think Swivel was a beautiful solution that was actually working. I I have spoken with a gentleman actually 2 days ago that ran at least 7 different buses on different routes um, on Swivel, and he misses it because of the efficiency and the data that was offered. Um, I think the biggest lesson for me is to find product market fit before trying to scale.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because I know it became a running joke as to how many civil ads we saw, how many YouTube ads you had to skip whenever we were trying to watch anything on YouTube. Civil poured a lot of money into trying to scale
Mm-hmm.
before trying to understand the market,
Mm-hmm.
before trying to actually build brand love. Um, yeah, so I think the biggest lesson for me is to not bite off too much um,
Yeah.
and struggle to chew, and to find the right partners to be able to actually know what to step on and what not to, um, because I think it's a difficult market, mobility. Um, you can't just attack the entire country or an entire city from day one. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely it's definitely a case that people have brought up many times when speaking to me. Um, and it's something that I can't use as an excuse to say, "Hey, watch out! Let me not jump into this."
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I can't be naive to the fact that there's been people with a lot more muscle, a lot more money that have tried this and failed.
Agreed. So one of the things that I've encountered, when watching or listening to different entrepreneur interviews is a lot of people talk about their successes. And in this podcast, we also want to talk about failures. Um,
Mm.
have you failed before? How was that like?
Of course, I've failed before. We all have. I think I mentioned the full circle moment with my experience at Uber. I
Mm-hmm.
lost my job at Uber, and
Mm-hmm.
it was, very, very tough for me because it was quite a big job to get at my age, a big job to get um, at the stage I was in my career, and um, it definitely felt like something that I had to step back from and understand um, what went wrong and how can I be better for this. And
Yeah.
because of that experience, it grew me so much.
Yeah.
So I never thought I was ever going to work in the mobility space again. But here I am now, and those lessons definitely will reign true up until now.
We are cheering you on, Isaac. Thank you so much for sharing that piece. Um, when you look at the most successful entrepreneurs across the globe, some of them come from the worst um, feelings or situations that they were put in, which then fuel their passion and their growth. So for
Yeah.
our listeners out there, if you've been laid off at work or things are just not working where you are, maybe the universe is sending you a sign that it's time to pivot and to try something else. So as we wrap up, Isaac, this podcast is targeting people who are maybe in jobs that they don't like, doing things that they are not interested in, just trying
Yeah.
to pay their bills and survive. But they can be so much more. What advice would you give to such individuals who are maybe scared to fail or scared to try or even scared to start and do not know how to go about that?
I would say stay curious. I think some of my toughest times in when I've been in similar situations as you've described have been when I've lost hope and I stopped looking out for what my tomorrow could be.
Mm-hmm.
When you accept the the pain that you're in, or when you accept that this is it, that I'm stuck here, um, this is what I deserve. I think the first step I would tell someone like that is to open their eyes and see that things can get better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then the second step is to take action. You can take action by learning a new skill. You identify an opportunity and identify the steps required to get that new job or start that other company, and then figure out what skills do I need to be able to do that and begin learning. And it's going to require lots of hard work and lots of hustle. Get home and start learning. Serve some dinner, take a shower, talk to your partner, whatever it takes, and then sit down and spend 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours if need be, on that new skill. And repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And don't lose momentum. It's going to take sacrifice, but then you have to keep your eye on that tomorrow. You have to keep your eye on what that future will look like, because you aren't born to be stuck. You aren't born to be nobodies or whatever that job or that situation is making you feel like. We were born to shine. We were born to inspire, and these things require you to really like break out of whatever you're feeling. So, and then another thing that I keep telling myself is there's no such thing as 100%. There's never going to be a time that you'll feel ready. There'll never be a time where you feel like you have all the energy in the world to do that tutorial or to sit down and do that proposal or write that business plan. There'll never be a time where you feel 100%. But do it. Just do it with that 50% or that 60%, because it'll be done at the end of the day. So yeah, I think start learning, start looking, start being curious, start dreaming, because without that, there's no reason for life then.
Yeah, great. So Isaac, how can people reach you? For those who want maybe to learn more about what you do or your services or want to partner with you, how can they reach you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. You can look for me at Isaac Hunja. You can also email me at isaac.hunja@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram. My handle is It's Hunja, ITS Hunja. Yeah, I think those are the easiest platforms to find me on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Isaac, for sharing your story. We wish you all the best of luck as Trip Moja goes big to the world. All the best. Good luck. Stay blessed.